For this, I opened up a UCAM and I will load my YELO job over here. And maybe before I start, I will create a layer like you are used doing it now. So what I will do now in the beginning, I will just say, okay, I clip my silk layer, which I see over here. Well, first of all, it might be a very good idea to duplicate this. So I have here now a duplicate layer. And I will clip it now. First, I will clip it to my mask, which would be the green layer. And I say, okay, I want to have a 50 micron clearance, and I want to have my minimum line length on 200 microns. I say apply, and well, let's be sure to do this correct. I will, of course, if I do it on the, so I will do it like this, and I say apply. Okay, and now I say I want to also to have my drill layers clipped. So I put it on plane 3. I will do it like this. And I say also apply. So this should be now the result that you would have normally. And what is this result? Well, I can show. For example, if you look at this section over here, you can see here that you have now for this text over here, it would be maybe a GC1, I'm not so sure. This would be IC1 something, you know, so all these texts have been clipped away. Whereas in the original, like over here, you can see that the text is halfway on the pads because this little chip over here has his text on the left side and it doesn't know about the component that's next to it. Also, what is interesting to see, if you have something like a normal clipping, you can imagine that this situation that you have over here, that it doesn't look too nice if you clip it. So what remains is this. You still have a little bit of corners, but the rest is gone. Okay, so this would be the normal situation. I will for now, I will just, well, what will I do? I will just easily rename this layer. I say, okay, this is my, well, maybe this is my quick and dirty solution. Okay, quick and dirty. Okay, and I say layers, well, I will save it because we will have different layers, quick and dirty. So I can say quick and dirty, save. Okay. I can load it afterwards if we have different solutions. We can see the differences between the quick and dirty. The issue is obviously quick and dirty sounds nice. It has a nice bite to it, but the problem is the dirty. You know, you want to have quick, but your customer might not want to have dirty. So, and that's why we are now going to see what the Legends Adjuster can do for you. Therefore, we start out with the original layer again. And we open up the Legends Adjuster over here. Okay, you see that we also have parameter sets here. So all the values that are used in the 3 tabs that we have, you can load them with one go. For example, if you have also different copper heights, or you know, so you need maybe then a different DRC done. So that's all what you can set up front. But let's start now what we are actually seeing here. So what it's talking about here is that you will have a text definition, because first we need to look for texts. And to do this, we have the maximum text size, like I set it to 5 millimeters. So what we will have is that elements that are bigger than 5 millimeters will not be recognized as text. This is quite 5 millimeters is quite a quite a good value. And also we have a letter spacing that we can set. And what I only do is I say tag words. And right away you see that we have, let's see, 34 texts on this PCB. Okay, you can also easily see that we have texts. You see it colors in a different way. We have a different color for the text as for the rest of the data. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see quite a lot of these. If I hide my mask layer, it is much more visible. So, okay, we have the purple ones and we have the red lines. So this is a very good way that you can easily see that your texts are okay. However, what we also can do is you can also say, show me only the text and show only the non-text. So if I click on this, it will hide my normal lines. And for this, it will hide the texts. Well, what is it good for? Well, this is definitely very good to check if your recognition was okay. So if I go to a total view, well, that's maybe a little bit too much, but if I if I then zoom in, I see only text here. I can read them all. So that's actually looking very nice. Here we also have looking very nice. And then, oh, wait, here I see something that should be a text, but there seems to be a small issue there. And why is there a small issue? Well, it is purely, if I now say, okay, I go to my show all, it's just because we have here some entanglement between two copper objects, let's put it like this. So this is of course not belonging to this word. So, and now we are getting to that we can actually say, okay, I want to select a chain. I can say, okay, this one that I have over here. So I pressed select chain, and then I clicked on this little square, and I can then say undefined word. Maybe also what was in the sheets before, if I use my right mouse, it will deselect. If I use my left mouse, it will select. Okay, so, and I say just, okay, undefined word. Tuck. Okay, so now I fixed my words. That's all I actually needed to do. So it was quite fast. And now I'm done on this page. It's maybe interesting for that if you click on words, that you can see that it's moving to the different kind of words that I have. And notice that it says we have text 12 and it says R16. So we do not say we have R16. So we do not recognize it. We just tag the words like it says over there. Okay. So we say, okay, this is a word and I can now deal with the word in one go. I don't need to deal with everything by itself. Okay, so we are done. Like I told before, I go to my verify, and here you have your DRC configuration with obviously minimum line width, minimum line length, and the clearance free of mask. These are the things that are standard to every optimization, I would say. Maybe a little bit more unusable, no, what is it? Uncommon is that you can also use the copper layers that are below. But well, normally you have only the copper, the mask would be the most common thing to do. So that's also what we do now. And you can set how much distance you want to have to the plated drill and non-plated drill. Okay, I press verify. Well, wait for it. Wait, I was a little bit too fast, I'm afraid. So I press verify and should also maybe show the mask again. Okay, and now you see that we have also here for these texts that we have all kind of issues that we want to solve. Okay, so, and if I go to a total view, you see now that we have quite some issues. Well, what does it say over here? Well, on my adjustment page that I have, it says we have 20 times that the text is being violated, and we didn't fix anything. Okay, here we have some tools that we can deal with these violations, and down here we have what we actually want to do. And I think first it might be a very good thing to I can do all the 20 texts if I want. Of course, I can deal with them by hand. But the question, of course, that I would want to ask, do I want this? And of course, I don't want this. So what I first want to do, I just want to say, okay, I just let him move the text by itself. And you already see that it's, the text that was now on the pads is not on the pads anymore. And actually what I can do is that it's moving the texts now to positions where it's free of any issues. I have now it repaired from the 20 that I had. I have 6 texts left. All the other ones are repaired automatically. So, and the 6 that I have, I can run through them with these buttons. And then I say, okay, this one over here, I will zoom in a little bit more so that you can more easily see it. It is on top of a drill. Okay, and then you can say, okay, I don't mind. That's up to you. On the other hand, if you say I do mind, I can just scale the word and say, okay, look over this and move the word. So this is actually a very quick repair. Also, what you can see is that I have this circle around it. And if I move my text, I am not able to pass this line unless I press the shift button on my keyboard. Then I can actually move it further on, but it's, I mean, 5mm is quite wide as it is, isn't it? So I put my text over here. I say also re-verify after every transform so that it actually gets, I can see how much is left. Here we have the same. We have an R15. We make it a little bit smaller. Okay, it's already done. Then we have this one. We can also make this a little bit smaller. We have this one. We can also make it a little bit smaller. And you see that it's really quickly to solve the issues that you have. You can move it, you can scale it, you can do everything you want. Maybe this one we move a little bit. Okay, so maybe over here. So, and now we don't have any violations left. So this is already a really nice situation, I would say. When you're done with your text, there's only one thing left that you can do. You can say expand shrink, which is for the frames that you have over here. Okay. And automatically if I click expand shrink, because it says also split draws. It means that if it cannot expand shrink, it will split the draws. So I press my repair button, check over here. And now you will see that the mask that we had, look, did you see? It's moved now to the inside. So this is the solution what the Legend Adjuster now is doing. Let's see just with my quick and dirty layer what the difference is. Okay, so I will just move around. This would be the quick and dirty. Okay, now you see that the text would be kind of TC20 probably. I would say TC20. And you see also that this has been cut away. If I go back, I see it's IC20. You know, it's not TC, it's IC20. So this is quite a different text. And also, if you are now looking at all the things that we did, that we checked before, we have here this IC over here. If we go to our quick and dirty, you see that there's also almost nothing left. Also other text that we had seen over here. Okay, the GC1 and the IC whatever, it is now IC90. So you see that this is really doing a lot of nice work without you doing too much work. It was, if I do this by hand, it takes maybe a minute. I mean, now of course I did a lot of explanation what I actually was doing, but you can imagine that this is really a quick tool so that you have a lot of tools where you can deal with the words right away. So this is already very, very fast if you want to do it this way. Okay. So also we have here, I didn't talk about it, but it was in the sheet. You have, of course, the backup original layer. Okay, so that's what we also are comparing against now. Okay, so the automatic way, I need to, because this one is, of course, completely repaired already, I will do the automatic way as well. I will show this. And then you can kind of think how fast things can be done, I still tag my words. I just leave them as is. I say just verify, and after the verification, I just say adjust. Okay. Sorry. So now the whole thing has been repaired. It was 3 mouse clicks. It was, I must say, that's quite fast. And when I see then how things have been repaired as well, we have, of course, for example here, my SW3, which was in the original, it was like this, so it would have been cut away completely. Okay, so all these kind of things are done completely automatic with only a few clicks. Okay, also the text like IC18, they are very well readable now. We have still a drill over here, but it's still good readable. It's so this is in a few clicks you already have let's say 90%, and your customer will already be happy with this because everything is readable. So that's already the goal of this module. Okay, so that's already fixed now. So let me think. So this was the completely automatic. I can of course still well, let me see. I have somewhere I have my this original layer. So but I think you can the quick and dirty. So if I add this to my job, just so this was still the one from the first run. Okay, so and of course if I now check this one, I have of course, you know, in comparison to the completely automatic one, you can definitely see that the automatic one is a lot better than the clipped one I had before. Also, still what we have over here with the chips that we have over here. I mean, that's, but yeah, you saw this of course before, and I think you can imagine that all the texts that were clipped away, that they are now nicely visible. Okay, so let's see. I think that this concludes for now the presentation, but I think there will be some questions, or maybe I also forgot something to explain, but Sylvia will tell me because she is always very attentive. Sylvia, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, and we have quite some questions.
Okay.
And I filtered some of them, so maybe we can go through them one by one. First one is, I do not care about drill covered by mask. Is it possible to run without drills?
Yes, of course. So we can do that as well. I can just reload the job. Okay, so like this. So this is still the same job that we had before. I go to my text definition. I tag my words like I did before. I go to setup verify, and instead of now having my plated drill, I will just say, okay, I put in a 0 here. Now it will not detect any issues with the drills, and therefore if I adjust, so I could, for example, then just say, okay, you can see maybe it was in the beginning I had 14 violations and I had 20 the first time, so there was actually 6 with drills. Now I have only 14. If I move the text, I still have 2 violations left. And then I can just click. Well, of course you need to zoom in a little bit. I mean, I maybe get a little bit lazy with this tool, but okay. So this one is not fixed automatically, and this one is not fixed automatically, but now they are. And I say now repair. Okay, repair. And if I now go and see my the result that I have, you see that the drills are not clipped away and the texts are now completely readable. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Another one, that is, yeah, about the GUI. What is the difference between the minimum clearance to copper entries in the GUI? I think that is on the setup verify tab.
Yes, so this is different ones. Okay, so yes, I talked about, of course, the clearance to areas free of mask, which is most commonly used. Let's put it like this. But what you also can do is that you say, I don't want the mask is not so relevant for me. Because what I can do is, let me see if I can show this with the proper colors, because I mean I'm almost running out of them. So if I put maybe the copper layer in red, like over this. I have the mask layer in, well, maybe for now in green. I will just try to show. I hope that so copper layer is now in red. We have the mask layer in green, and you see that we have, of course, here the copper pads are slightly smaller than the mask. Okay. Now, what are we talking about now? We can either use the distance to any copper. Well, if we would use that on, for example, this one, it would also the mask would not be used in this case. So it would actually then clip or try to move first using the copper image that's below it. Also the tracks, so everything that is there. So that's kind of impossible in this whole thing. So, but there are designs where you can do this. More common would be the copper pad. So that would be here. We have a copper pad over here. So maybe I can highlight it. So we have a copper pad over there. And we have a copper pad over here, and we have a copper pad over here. So these are copper pads, and we can also use this. So that would be the copper pads. We can also say we want to have the copper free of mask. So that would be, so now the mask comes into, so where we have this, so it would be then the copper that's free of mask. So it would also include the little stub here on the end, so that it would use this stub over here. Well, maybe that is too small. Wait, let me just, so okay. So over here we have also a little piece of copper, and that's bigger than the pad, because the pad is here on the left side and the track goes out on the right side. So it would also take this stubs into account. And as last, we have the copper pad free of mask. So then this stub would not be taken into account, only the pad that we see on the left side. Okay. So
I have a small follow-up question to that. So I assume a copper area free of mask will be handled then, right? So I think that was for the copper free of mask. And let me answer that directly.
okay.
Yes, every copper which is free of mask will be handled in the third line of this area. So
Oh yeah.
doesn't matter if it is a line, a draw, a flash, or a contour, or whatever it is. Could be even a copper text. Good.
Correct.
Another one. Oh, is Legend Adjuster recognizing text created as contour?
Well, at the moment, we only have texts that are drawn, so are created with draws. I think this is also the common thing that happens with boards. I think at least 95% of all the boards have just draws and not something else, or maybe even more. So that's why we at the moment only use the draws.
Okay. So let me
Draws.
see.
Mask.
Oh, this is a nice question. Text sometimes is placed below components. Is there a possibility to move it to the outside automatically?
let me think. I suppose that below components, it's like underneath components, like we see over here or over here. I think that's.
I think so.
Now the question is to move this automatically to here or on the right or whatever. So, well, what you of course can do very easily is that you will you just take your text, and you can you have to so it doesn't do it automatically, but like we already said, you can move this. I can also pass the boundary when I press my shift button, and I can just easily put it over here. It's, you know, and if you want to do this for all the components, it's very quickly done, you know. So now we are done, it's finished already. So it's not automatic, but it's, you can do it very quickly or manually.
Okay, so there was a question regarding the markup. Is there markup needed before using Legend Adjuster?
Well, no. The only markup that you have will be the one that you do over here. So the only, you'd say tag words, that's all. That's the markup that you do, but it doesn't need any markup. So any yeah, preliminary markup, or whatever you would call it. No, so it will just use the data as it is.
Yeah, I would extend that a little bit. So of course you need to have the right subclass. Otherwise it will not verify the right things to each other. And of course the layers have to be flashed so that you really have a
Okay, the pads should be pads. It should not be painted pads.
Legend Adjuster is another part of YELO we extended. We were asked a lot of times if we can do an automatic line width repair in Legend Adjuster. And of course we developed that for you. This is quite easy to show, so I open the Legend Adjuster. The text recognition was extended too. Some were complaining that you not always see very good where the text is. So if text is running in each other, do I have an example here? No, not yet. But you can imagine with a small frame like this, you directly see where the text starts and ends. If I go to the verify process now, I can put in a minimum line width, and it not only checks it, but if I go to the adjustment and let it run through, I can increase the line width, automatically expand and shrink the frames, and move the texts. And voila. Let me move that out of the way. The original layer, you not only see that it is moved, it is now quite the size we want to have it. The Legend Adjuster contained in the older versions already a functionality to scale a text one by one. So I click the text and make it smaller or bigger and let it drop down. We now have a new option to scale all texts in one go on all active layers. It always preserves the minimum line width. Let's have a look how that goes. This is a standard job, and I will use this one here. So If I open my Legend Adjuster, first I go to the text definition. I see with my small frames around it, which is put together in one text. I can go to verify and, for example, use a line width of 0.15, a line length of 0.2, and I want to have a clearance to areas free of mask of 0.1 millimeter. And if I then go to verify, I will see a lot of errors here and here. And we have the possibility still to move a word or manually scale a word, but I would like to scale all of the text in one go to 0.9. So if I go to scale all words, we see that directly the errors are removed. Here is still some errors left over, and if I now go to the automatic repair of the frames, I normally should have no error left, and of course the text is moved, we see it into the frame. This frame is moved to the inside and I'm finished with this layer. So very fast and easy.
The Legend Adjuster got a new feature which redundantizes the adaptation on aperture sizes when scaling words. In the image gallery, you directly can see what happens with the original text size and line width if you select to not change the line width. You see the line width stays the same, the word is getting much bigger. Or if you choose to scale the line width together with the word size. I will show the scaling of the aperture size together with scaling all words with this job. In this case, the silk screen or legend is in red. I put the solder mask below it in green. And we now open our Legend Adjuster. First, I, of course, have to recognize all the text. I can see directly where my text is. In the setup and the verify, I can define the minimum line width I would like to have and a minimum line length in case of clipping. I can define that I want to have a clearance to areas free of mask. That's the reason why I'm using the solder mask. And now I already can go to adjust, but to make sure we can see very good, I will open one of the texts a bit more and we'll do the new change in aperture size. So you see here that I toggle it on. I want the aperture size to be scaled with the scaling for scale all words. So I make a very big change. So 3 times was it what it was. And if I scale all words, you see the line width is changed directly to the size of the scale factor. If I go back and I don't have that toggled on and I scale all words, you see the line width stays the same as it was before, but it will always be at least the minimum line width specified in the setup and verify tab.